So I'm recording the video because I think it's going to be easier for me to kind of visualize where this is going and be able to use the script that we've delivered along with ad-libbing along the way. So as we wrap up our lead generation course on how do we create great lead generation habits, I want to just go back and touch on some of the things that we spoke about earlier and that we've delivered here in this class and help you to kind of reevaluate where you are, where you want to go, and then make sure that you have designed a plan to help you get where you want to go. Over my 40 plus years of experience in business as a former practicing CPA, as a real estate developer, as a real estate broker with a medium-sized firm coaching hundreds of agents, running my own business, one of the things that I've learned is that a key, maybe the key to success is having enough business to sustain your organization. And the way that we have enough business is by what we call lead generation or business development. And business development, lead generation, is putting ourselves in the place where buyers, sellers, investors, landlords, tenants, those who might need our real estate services know who we are, that we can connect with them, that we can build a relationship. It's helping to put ourselves in that place where when they have a need for real estate, that they recognize that we are there to provide their services. Crafting a steady stream of leads is the most important thing that we can do. So the quick story that I like to tell that it makes a lot of sense for me and helps translate this into kind of a real world approach is that as a practicing CPA, I knew that about 20% of my clients were going to go out of business every year. Wasn't any fault of mine nor theirs. It was just the nature of what would happen. Some people had change in life circumstances, the markets changed, or they just chose to leave whatever business they were in. That meant that at any given point in time, I had to add at least 20% plus clients to grow my business. And I remember one year I woke up and it was January 1st and I said, okay, well, my business has grown significantly. I now have 500 clients and that's a thriving practice. And then I realized that I had to go out and get over 100 just to stay in the same place. Well, that's also very true about real estate because we know that buyers and sellers tend to move every 7 to 12 years. We use an average of every 10. That means that we are going to have to rebuild 10% of our business every single year in order for us to just stand still. And if we're standing still, we're really moving backwards. So we need to put ourselves in a place where our business is growing to meet our needs. And when we do that, when we put ourselves in that place to help buyers, sellers, and investors with their real estate services, then we grow a thriving business. How do we generate leads? Well, we talked about that. You could use seminars, you can call people, you can call for sale by owners, you can call expired, you can mostly call your sphere of influence. You want to be proactive, you want to get outside, you want to knock on doors, you want to go to community events, you want to meet people. Meeting people is certainly the best way to build a relationship with others. We want to get out there and contact people. And in this course, we talked about the 10 top ways to generate business. And one of those that we always come back to is having conversations. And one of the ways we ensure we're having great conversations is by practicing scripts. Scripts in and of themselves help us listen to people better. They help us to make sure that we communicate our message. They help us to overcome objections. And objections really are just questions phrased differently. And it gives us the opportunity to stop and to have an automatic response. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a very positive way. That once we are really good at what we do, then we have a systematic response to the questions that are posed to us. We can talk about what's going on in the market. More importantly, the script enables us to stay on a conversation where we come from contribution. We create a dialogue. We get to know the people that we're talking to. We have compassion. We're building rapport. We're building a relationship. So ensuring that we learn our scripts is extremely important. We also discussed the importance of prospecting and marketing. And we are prospecting based and marketing supported. And what we want to do is prospect to build our database, prospect to connect with people who would need our services, get them into our spreadsheet or our CRM system, and then follow up with them in a systematic manner so that we are connected to them, we're building a relationship, and that when they think real estate, we are top of mind. Prospecting costs much less than marketing. And when we prospect, we're using our time to connect with others and build a relationship. When we market, then we are following up with that prospecting effort to connect with others. If we lead with marketing, what we are doing is we're actually competing with the rest of the world, people who don't know us, to market to people who don't know us, against people who don't know us or may not know us. And we haven't built a connection, haven't built a relationship. Now, sometimes marketing upfront is important, such as mailing a postcard to a community that we want to do business in, and then following up with a phone call or following up with a door knocking or following up with participating in a community activity. What we've then done is we've taken what could otherwise be a cold contact and warmed it up by sending them something that is meaningful. Maybe some market statistics or some information about how to inquire for a comparative market analysis, things that are going on in the area that would be important to them. Then when you follow up, you build a relationship. So people always say to me, well, what's the best way to prospect? And really the truth is whatever works for you. And we have to have a consistent, cohesive plan of prospecting to know that we're going to dedicate the necessary amount of time, to dedicate the necessary amount of effort into a programmed approach to how are we going to build business. Now, prospecting can be phone calls, it can be door knocking, it can be emails, it can be social media, it can be meeting people in the grocery store, as I like to joke, standing in the sign aisle at one of the big box home improvement stores where the for sale by owner signs are, and asking people, really, do you want to pick up that sign? I can help you get more money for your home than you are likely to attain on yourself or attain by yourself. And I'm going to do it in less time, less amount of aggravation. I'm going to make the process smoother and simpler because I'm an expert. I do this every day. And if you do it, that means you're a part-time real estate agent competing against all of us who have this knowledge, background, and skills. And you can see how it could benefit you from using an expert, can't you? Or a script, something like that gets you in place or in front of people who can help you grow. Your database is the single most important thing you can do. So every time you meet somebody, you want to get their contact information. It's not enough to just hand out a business card. You have to collect their information. You have to get them into a system, and then you have to have a follow-up plan. If you share a mobile app with them, you want to get their information. You're going to ask for their phone number to share the app. Make sure you get their name. Put it in your system, and then add it to your database. Ask for email addresses. Ask for mailing addresses. Ask for birthdays. We want to be able to build relationships with people, and that database is going to be the single most important thing that you can do. And in order to do that, you've got to carve out time. You got to carve out time every single day. Lead generation is the most important business development activity that you can engage in. If you are not generating business to work with clients, then you are not going to have clients to work with. And because our business is working with buyers and sellers, helping them to buy and sell and invest in real estate, if we are not working with a buyer or a seller or an investor, I guess that means we're unemployed. And I don't know about you, but I don't like that idea. I don't even like the word. So I know that I've got to go out and get business every day. And if I don't have a client to work with in the moment, then what I need to be doing is working on finding clients to work with. And that's also so important for you. If you don't have clients to work with, 100% of your day should be dedicated to getting and building relationships so that you have clients to work with. Once you start working with clients, then the next step is going to be to allocate your time so that you can work with them and still have time to continue to build business. I've seen so many agents that have gotten busy with one or two clients, and they're busy, and then they close one or two and realize that they have no stream of income. The most important thing you can do is fill your pipeline so that you have consistent business, that you're not on a roller coaster. There's nothing worse than living from check to check, deal to deal, being stressed out about whether or not a transaction is going to close. By lead generating consistently, you're filling that pipeline full of people that are potential buyers and sellers that you can turn into your clients, your customers, and those people that you can have a successful transaction with. When we do that, then we are accomplishing both of our jobs. Our job is to be in real estate, and our job is to build business to do real estate. We're working in our business and on our business, and we have to do that consistently and effectively. I believe that the most important thing we can do is strive for a 50-50 balance. 50% of our time is spent building business, 50% of our time is spent on high dollar value activities, working with our clients, building our business, and then as we grow to that place, being able to delegate the administrative tasks and the other things that take us away from those high dollar value activities of being directly in front of buyers, sellers, and investors. How do we decide on how many people we're going to do business with? Is really a market-driven number, and we have to decide how much money we want to make. How much time are we willing to invest? And remember, time is an investment because time is money. We only have a limited amount of time. We each have 1,440 minutes a day, and it's how we spend those is going to make the biggest difference. So we have to choose how we invest our time, and we do that by making a decision about how much business we're going to do. So if in your market the average sale price is $250,000, and if in your market your business model was a 3% commission on one side of the transaction, then that would mean that you get $7,500 gross commission income per transaction. Well, when you factor in your business expenses, you factor in your operating expenses, and you factor in the other expenses before your living expenses, that's going to get you to your net income. And once you determine your net income, calculate backwards, and that will tell you how much business you need to do. We've got a worksheet designed to help you come up with that calculation. It's really not very complicated, although it seems that way. For me, the real number is I look at the gross commission income. I know that 40% of that is going to be my net on average based upon models that we're familiar with. So that lets me know how much business I need to do. So if 40% of $250,000 is $100,000, that's going to be my net. That tells me how much business I need to do. I divide $250,000 by 7,500. And that tells me how many transactions I need to do in order to meet my business goals. So that's the same model that we use in calculating our database too. We know that 1 in 6 people, 2 in 12, 1 in 12 will need to do 1 in 12 will need our services, and 1 in 12 will know somebody who needs our services. And when we calculate that formula, that's 1 in 6. 2 in 12, 1 in 6, we can divide our database. That's going to tell us how many potential transactions there are over time. And when I say over time, it's time on task over time. So it could be 12 to 24 months of consistent follow-up on a regular basis is going to generate that kind of return. When you do that, that's going to tell you how big your database needs to be as well. There is no such thing as a database that's too big when it's filled with quality. Filling it with quantity just for the sake of numbers kind of makes it a challenge on how are you going to follow up with them. So I always like to talk about quantity and then the quality inside that quantity. Who are your 10s? Who are your 10s in terms of your relationship with them? And who are your 10s in terms of their relationship with others in the world? people who are highly influential, that you have a great relationship, your core advocates are going to generate a significant part of your business. Building your database full of core advocates, those people who are tens and tens, are going to get you the highest possible return. Then we went on to talk about lead tracking and our database tracking. And the most important thing that we can do in our lead generation model is as we contact people is to make sure that we put them into a spreadsheet or put them into a customer relationship management system that allows us to track the next activity, put a date on it, put it on our computer, put it in our calendar, follow up when we say we're going to follow up, do the things we say we're going to do. Lead tracking and follow-up is the number one area that I see agents fail apart from building their business by lead generating, because they lead generate, have conversations with people, yet they fail to follow up with the next step. They fail to track what needs to happen in order to take them from a person that they built a relationship with who's expressed a need to somebody who is now in relationship because they've signed an exclusive agreement, to someone who is now someone that is under contract and we are closing successful transactions worth. We need to make sure that we are consistent throughout the process, that we have a system in place to help us follow up. You know, we are the sum of the habits that we have created, and those habits can be good or bad habits. Those are habits that we undertake every single day, how we wake up in the morning, when we undertake to do these activities. Those habits set us apart from what others. Highly successful people have just built highly successful habits. So to do lead generation effectively, we want to create the habit of getting up in the morning, having a great routine, getting connected with our creator, making sure that we've had the proper nutrition, get some exercise and be active, and then sit down first thing in the morning and undertake lead generation as our most important activity, because it's when our mind is sharp and we're ready to go. When we do that in the morning effectively, then we have built the opportunities, we've set the appointments to go meet with buyers and meet with sellers and have presentations, show properties, sign listing agreements, get properties on the market, get them under contract, and then take them to successful closing. Yet we always have to start with the right habit of building business. That habit has to come first. And the way we do that is by ensuring that we are purposeful, that we have a plan, that we have a calendar, and that we've let everybody else know what our time blocking plan is. Time blocking is a term that we use to actually literally block time in our day to do those activities. If we have a special project, we're going to block the time for that project, such as cleaning up our database or making sure that our CRM system is operational properly, or that our spreadsheet is complete and set up. We also have to have daily routines that we time block for as well. We time block for our morning routine, we time block for lead generation, we time block for time blocking, we time block to plan, and we time block to execute. And when we're doing those things consistently, we're building habits. And we know that I've heard so many people say, well, I've got the discipline to do this, or I have the willpower. Well, discipline kind of runs out after a while, because willpower is like a cell phone battery. Willpower is not always on will call. It will drain out. When we build great habits, those habits become automatic. And automatic habits are things that we do without thinking about them. They become part of our routine. And when we get out of that routine, then we feel awkward. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you're someone who goes to the gym consistently, you know what it feels like. And when you don't go to the gym, you also know what that feels like. Yet it's so easy to get out of habit. It's easy when we don't go to the gym for 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks. How hard is it to get restarted again? Because it's easy to fall out of habit. We want to maintain the great habit of lead generation by doing it consistently. We also have to ensure that we're paying attention for other lead generation opportunities, to do seminars, to do speaking engagements, to put ourselves in front of other real estate agents who could refer business to us, building relationships with professionals, talking to our bankers, talking to the dry cleaner, talking to the people we run into every single day. How do we put ourselves in places where they are, and not to do it in a way that is invasive. Do it in a way that's building a relationship where you come from contribution. The most important thing that we can do is to keep the momentum of lead generation going. Once you get started, once you start to see success, by continually building that practice, by continually generating new leads, by growing our business, by realizing that these are the most important activities that we undertake, by matching our time on our calendar to the effort that we're putting in, by aligning ourselves with the right principles of business operations, then we create this effective lead generation strategy that fills our pipeline full of potential clients and customers, people who want to work with us, turning them into clients who are working with us, turning those into effective closings that help us to fund an amazing life, to allow us to make massive changes, to allow us to do things that are incredibly important to us, to make a difference and to leave a legacy. So I thank you very much for undertaking to participate with us in this program. I certainly hope that you have taken away a lot of useful information. I expect that you have. It's filled with worksheets, filled with activities, filled with ideas and tools to help you be successful. And we look forward to getting your feedback and letting us know what we can do to help you be better in your real estate career every single day.